Well, there you are again. Charlie Greer podcast again today. Did Paul McCartney die in 1966? Was replaced maybe? I don't know. I'm asking you. So could be. Very well could be. It's a strange, mysterious world, people. So yeah, I went down this rabbit hole in like 2006, 2007. Pardon me. Hey, it's 7:30 in the a.m. Black coffee. Hot black coffee. Wow. Strong. Went down that Paul McCartney is dead. Is Paul dead? Matter of fact, my last EP that came out, Turn Me On Dead Man. That's what that references when you play Revolution #9 backward. Turn Me On Dead Man. Turn Me On Dead Man. I thought, yeah, I'll just coattail right off this conspiracy theory. That'll be successful. But yeah, I had a roommate. He turned me on to, hey, let's watch this. So we did. And it's at first I was like, oh man, bullshit. I see Paul McCartney, I saw Sir Paul live in St. Louis in 2002, 2003. Awesome. Amazing. Just so if he is replaced, if he is like, Billy Shears or whoever, dude. So yeah, supposedly the story goes in 1966, he died in a car crash, leaving the studio or something. And they were so big then we had to replace him. Shit. So of course, if this is true, let's just for argument's sake, say he did die. All right. Of course, the rest of the band has to know. They have to go along with it. They have to, and you know who gave the clues even before it came out, before people knew about the Paul? It was the Beatles, the Sgt. Pepper album. I mean, that song, Sgt. Pepper, they're introducing a new dude in the band, Billy Shears. Let me introduce to you the one and only Billy Shears. Who's Billy Shears? He's actually a dude. He's a musician. And also on Sgt. Pepper, now they've moved around, but there was a little picture I always thought was Paul McCartney. He had like a little mustache and glasses, wearing a black suit, white shirt, white tie. That's not Paul. That's a Scotsman, a mailman who won a Paul McCartney lookalike contest. And that album, all over that album, there's these weird, cryptic. Again, they never played live again after this too. In 1966, something whatever it was, the last time they only played live again on that rooftop in 1970 or something. They quit touring. They quit. Like all grew mustaches and hair. I mean, could it have been? Could it have been that, like, pardon me, I got my dog. Could it have been that, like, they did have to replace him? Maybe a few options. Say if he died, like, oh man, the public will go crazy, and also this is a moneymaker, man. What the hey? If by then the Beatles probably had to go along with what they had to. Come on, man. The Beatles were like IBM. And here's another strange thing about the Beatles. They broke up, and supposedly they didn't have any money. Like, where'd all that money go? Where'd the wealth of the world go? I think George was the first one to become an official millionaire because he released an album, like a solo album. I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, maybe they were on stipend or I don't know, per diem a day. You get some. But what I went down the rabbit hole, that's why Paul or Fall or whatever hooked up with the Linda, whose father owned Kodak, and then John hooked up with Yoko because her parents were Japanese bankers. They had money. You're going to be birds of feathers stick together, man. You're going to need somebody with some money in your Beatle. Hey, unless you. I don't know. Again, I'm asking this question, but let's just theorize that he did die, and you got to replace this dude for a couple of reasons. Mostly, it's just like the money. Hey, it's a train. We're building castles, and the people will freak out. And Billy Shears, he was a dude. And again, they could make people. Okay, replacing people, you think, oh, how could you replace somebody? That's as old as time. I mean, that's one of the first hustles. Yeah, that's shit. They talk about stuff like in the Bible. Everybody has doubles. They admit it. They've all got 3 or 4 doubles, especially if you're like a high profile, like, politician or something like that, a celebrity. You're going to double. You're going to have to. So we know that they do this. And back in the ancient times, that some regions, that was their main industry, was just, there's stories about, like, say, okay, they've been sending us silk or diamonds, whatever. We'll send somebody there, oh, you must send one of your, a son or what, hey, a prince, represent whatever, get there. We ain't heard from him for a while. What's going on? He married my daughter and now he's doing this. He don't want to come back. Well, we want to see, will you come? And then next thing you know, replace you with, so they first have to get the people around you that would recognize, come on. This, again, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't have the, wherewithal. You'd need, like, nowadays, you need the intelligence agency. And I'm sure that there are things like that. Back in like the 90s, maybe 95, 96, I found out through these lawyers that the witness protection program, people that like get in trouble or whatever and have to testify, and they change their social security and they get surgeries. But there's two. One of them is for celebrities, but it ain't called witness protection program. And I was like, "What are you talking about, celebrity?" Like, oh yeah, huh? Yeah, that's the thing. Shit, you guys are bullshit. No, it was true. It was true. There's law firms. All they do is set up fake marriages and that. I mean, come on. Again, this has been going on for a long. This ain't nothing new. And if he was replaced by Billy Shears, people were saying, "Oh, he don't look like Billy Shears." Slap on hey, they got some stuff that can, Hollywood. They could shit. Don't you? Where do you think Hollywood learned this from? In theater and stuff. He could very well have been replaced. John called him fall. And then in that one, what is it? Imagine video. What are that? They're sitting around the table and it's John and George and they're eating or whatever. They're calling him Beetle Ed. Beetle Ed. Mr. Ed, the horse that talked. Now maybe they're just being, making fun of, who knows? But it's something to think about. I mean, perhaps it happened. Why would they, all the rest of their albums from that day, just lean into it really hard and kind of get mystic, little hints here and there? Maybe he did. And maybe they're just like, hey, by then, the Beatles, man. I mean, when you're that big, you literally have to have probably MI5, MI6. Hey, you need to, you're an industry. We need to keep these boys protected. And, a major, one of the biggest businesses back then was the Beatles. I mean, just mania. I mean, shit. And they weren't a boy band, but the Beatles were kind of, once they signed, and they used to wear like rock and roll leather, all black leather. It wasn't until they had the what was his name? Their manager, anyway. That they put the suits on and cut their hair and made them all kind of like a boy. It's like they were, and you sign whoever they were signed. I mean, you don't have a life by then. Matter of fact, they had double. They admitted that they'd send one of them out the side. They go out the back and hair getting pulled out. Cars getting up. It was a mania. It was a mania. You know what I'm talking about. We're moving on. So by then, you're that big. You gotta have some, And then once you sign, okay, it's called the Tavis Institute, I think. And they do social engineering experiments and this, that, and everything. Somehow the Beatles were involved with them. Were they engineer? Was it You know, Google the Tavis Institute. Because say if he did die and they have management and a record company and all this and lawyers, you're going to need somebody a little more powerful and deep and know how to keep secrets and this and that, how to do this kind of thing. So you need some kind of intelligence government agency to help you do it. But once you sign on to that, it's just, hey, well, that's what you, where are you going to go? Especially if you're a Beatle. Where are you going to go? Anywhere in the world, they're going to know, man. A little village somewhere. Shit. Especially back then. And another thing, once you go down this rabbit hole, there's a lot of times it's good to hide in plain sight. Like, don't get too complicated about it. Just make it like, admit it. Oh, it's just so silly. Yeah, they think that. You know, again, get it up so you can control the narrative. See, that's another reason why you'd want to release hints even before even people are talking about it, so you can control it. Like, oh no, see, that's just we did that. It's a joke. See, people don't think along those lines. That's how everything operates at certain levels. You got to control that narrative. You have to have a narrative. So hide in plain sight. Well, who would be doing that? There's a dude. Matter of fact, he's the caretaker for Paul McCartney's like home that he lived in before he got famous. And he looks, some people are saying like he's the original Paul. Paul didn't die. He just got replaced for nefarious reasons. They needed more control, whatever. And you see this guy, you're like, man, who is he? Paul McCartney's twin? I mean, shit. I mean, he's older and getting rich. He's living in this like little, flat in Liverpool where he's a dead bringer for the younger Paul. When Paul was young, the first Paul. Because Paul kind of looks different, got taller, yeah. Again, I don't know. I'm just asking and speculation, assumption, which is the mother of all mistakes. But hey, sometimes you got to break a few eggs to make an omelet. What my gut feeling is something again ain't right. I don't know what it is. Maybe when you let's just say that they didn't fake, they just say, hey, let's just fake one of our dead. It'll be big. We're already big. You're the biggest you've ever been. No, we want to be better. Let's just, that's kind of creates a dark kind of vibe. That's one of the reasons I don't stick to like certain, like my main, the most views I've got on my videos is a true crime one I did. And, but that, I don't want to live in that world. I couldn't be true crime. I do this every day, man. I could be thinking about. So when you go down that, you're, hey, let's fake this. Let's make these, all these cryptic, anytime you're dealing with death, meaning like saying like somebody might have died, you got to keep that, dude. That brings a different frequency. So that's what I'm picking up on. There's something creepy. I don't know what it is. I love the early Beatles. I love, she loves you, yeah, all the poppy shit. When they start getting on, yeah, all that backward shit, psychedelic, they lost me. I know, yeah, great in the studio. It's genius. I get it. It's awesome. But what I like, and like that early shit, that the ballads and I'm a sucker for bubblegum. Hey. That's just my humble opinion. I like the Beatles when they were like, she loved, Ed Sullivan, the little suits. And once they started, no. And I didn't grow up around, I was hearing the Beatles, but my dad was like a diehard Rolling Stones fan. And he's the one that kicked it to me when I was like 3 or 4. I knew this knowledge where he's like, hey, man, there's 2 schools. You, the Stones or the Beatles. The Beatles, man, they're a bunch of, nerds. He didn't like them. He loved the Stones. So he's like, all we listened to was the Stones and David Bowie and Elton John. And, he was like, the Beatles. He's ranting about the Beatles. Love the Stones. And sure enough, I grew up. There was, when he was growing up, he was in high school. He graduated in 1966. He was right. There was 2 schools of thought. There were, people love the Beatles, people love the Stones. It wasn't until I was a Kiss fan. I was really into Kiss. Found the Beatles. Again, She Loves You. I remember the guy let me borrow that first album. Oh my God. I was into the music too. With Kiss, it's just like the music, but also the visual. But I'm getting off track here. They could have very well replaced him. It's if you're connected like that and you're dealing with, they've already been knighted and all that stuff. Shit, it's probably, oh, he was already in the workhouse. What? Or is that even more? Like, could it be that a lot of money, the wealth, what, a third of the wealth? A lot. And you would need somebody like the Tavis Institute that's already knows how to do that kind of stuff. Pardon me, you might need them regardless, just because you can't, where are you going to be? Is there enough security to the crowds? I mean, that's what they claim. They quit touring because it was just people went crazy. Can you imagine? Yeah, I want to be there. I want to be a rock star. And then it's like, oh my God, after a month, it's like, hey, I heard for like the first year or two, they literally were like in a hotel room together, like with security around. They didn't have it's just, and where'd that money go, man? Why aren't their mamas and their, people have that? How could you not have any money when you, shit? Have to shack up with Yoko, her bank money. She's rich. So's Linda. Yeah, Kodak. Come on. I don't know. Could be. Again, at first I thought this was the most ridiculous, stupid. Are you kidding me? I ain't that dumb. But then, sitting there watching these YouTube videos or documentary, whatever, he had already found, like, he worked from home. He was a graphic designer. So he'd find these videos at night. We'd get off work. His fiance would be there too. That's what we do. Order food, Chinese, Thai food, or whatever, and just sit there and watch these. That was our thing, was weird documentaries and stuff. So we went down that Paul rabbit hole. And after a while, we're just like, are you kidding me? I mean, wow, are you? Could be. I mean, I'm no detective, but, and again, I've always something around that era about the Beatles, that those songs give me this kind of a creepy, I can't even explain it. Just a Black Sabbath, it doesn't give me that much of a shit. There's something going, I don't know. I just feel like I can't bullshit. That's what I'm picking up on that. And it's a creepy kind of bullshit. And then you add 1 + 1 makes 2. They're talking about, hey, we were playing Billy Shear. What? That's exactly what you would do. You admit it, then you control the narrative. Oh, it's stupid. We did we just took some LSD and all of a sudden had this idea. Come on. They could have. And then you got to ask yourself, well, who else has been replaced? Not the Beatles, but everyone. Shit. Again, is this like a cottage industry? Like, this is what we do? Name it something crazy, something you would never even think of, some organization or, corporation. The Tavis Institute, that's what again, you need to control that narrative. They did the same thing with the JFK assassination. Then new stuff was coming out, so they coined the term conspiracy theorist and all this, that, and the other. And a good lie, if you want to call it this, is just mix the truth, 90% of it's truth, and put in a 10% of a lie. Then you can always switch around the lie, That's what we do as humans, man. That's human behavior. I mean, not people use it. Most of us work on you're not lying. Most people I know just embellish, I'm the best. No, you're not. You got to work yourself up. That kind of stuff. Everybody does that. I do that. I mean, come on. But certain people, man, lying is a thing that they can't keep up. They don't want to. A lot of people don't even like being by themselves or their own thoughts, because then it's, always have to have people around, always busybody, busy work, this, that. See, can't sit down, can't just relax, can't just sit on your porch by yourself and just sit there and like, well, I'm gonna have a few beers. No, they can't do it. I've had people I've known they can't even go to the movie, man. They can't sit. I can't sit here. I got to. I've had friends. I had a drummer like that. It was just he's awesome. That's good. You got to be moving. This is I think that something's up. I don't know what it is. Let's just say it is. They were just, hey, let's just fake our claim to. And everything's weird about the Beatles, man. Like just John Lennon getting assassinated. Just signed an autograph for the dude. Came back and dude shot him. Reading, what was he reading? The book he was Catcher in the Rye. I don't know. And Catcher in the Rye was always coming up with people there. Hey, you got a copy of Catcher in the Rye? What? Huh? That's not even. I don't know. I wish I did know. Maybe one of these days we will. Paul's ex-wife, like in the early 2000s, late 90s, whatever, Heather, whatever her name was. She did an interview after they divorced, and she was like, "It's so mind-blowing. Why the reason that I found out some stuff. It's not. It would change people's outlook. It would change the world." She's kind of hinting around, like she was saying, like he wasn't the person I thought he was. That kind of shit. And she was crying and begging for money for security. She's like, the rest of my life, I'm going to need somebody to help you guard me. And then she was like, it's not that he's mean or it's not that. It's something else. I can't talk about it. Like she said, I can't. And she hadn't. Where's she been hiding? She learned how to do one of those like Vietnam mud huts underneath. There's a pool in there and all kinds of shit. Maybe. I don't know. Careful what you wish for. But I saw Sir Paul again. His band was just amazing, and they had some kind of Cirque du Soleil opening gig. It wasn't even a band. They just like people on stilts walking through the crowd. It was amazing, and it turned out that night it was John Lennon's birthday. The night he had the gig in St. Louis, and so they did a thing for John, and Paul was crying. Or Billy Shears. Awesome. One of the best concerts I've ever seen. And I luckily got, I literally was sitting at home and I got a phone call from a friend like, dude, you're not going to believe this. My ex-wife or whoever it was, the company won these tickets. And now all of a sudden she's got to go do something out. And we got 2 tickets. You want to go? We got to be there. I'll be able to go. I didn't have time to just, I'm out front of your door. Come on. And we did. I went. Awesome. I mean, I've seen a lot of shows. I've seen damn near everybody. Paul McCartney's solo show. I mean, just amazing. One of the tightest live bands. I mean, just nailing it. There wasn't that many of them. I mean, he had a few extra. I mean, 6 people on. I don't know. He was amazing. Playing guitar and bass and piano. I mean, he's awesome. I think he even played drums, if I'm not mistaken. But I know people like that too that aren't Paul McCartney. I know dudes that are amazing, but they've never had a shot. That's what's sad about life. I know a few that you should all know. There should be rock stars and stuff. It's just that it sucks. I mean, some of them they get by, but again, if it was honest and open, and they would no, the kind of person they are, people don't want to deal with. For one, they probably wouldn't. You can't control them. I'm one of those people where like, what you want me to sign? No. Then yeah, I know. I wish I had this stuff all my life in Madrid, and I didn't realize it was this. Shit, my mom was right. Never. I knew, but I mean, I've never. I could have. I almost signed with the, for nothing. In 2001, I was going to sign with Paul Kostabi was the A&R at Posh Boy. They're trying to reboot Posh Boy, and they offered me. I think it was they're going to re-release my Super Deluxe Rock and Roll EP. It was like a 5-year license for like $5,000, and I was going to do it. I was like, why not? I'm already moved on to my next album. I need some promotion. Nobody really knows who I am besides this little bubble that I'm in, kind of like underground, lowbrow rock and roll. I need some like and again, I got enough street cred, man, but they don't get you so far in this new industry. I need some like uh just some commercial, just milk toast, exposure. I need to bring it down a notch with my street cred a little bit. Hey, but I gotta see again. I know so many people, man, that are just I look up to, and it's like, damn, if the world was honest, it's just how it is. So when you're in a Beatle and you're the Beatles, huh? You're gonna by 66, they're ruling the world as strong as an army, basically. Again, the control they have over young minds. Then you can make some of this stuff into songs. People will sing every day. That's sad too. Unfortunately, that happens. It's happening. It did happen. All that. That's the certain elements have been involved in entertainment since the get-go. They know how to do that. They know how to. That's what they do. And most people think, "Oh no, I could never be fooled." Well, yeah, you are. Well, we're all. That's what shit. That's all we know. Nothing is truthful. I mean, go to the grocery store and look at the pictures of the food on the bottom, and look at just simple stuff like that. Just again, I'm not exempt from it either. But I think my gut tells me that he might have. There's a chance that there's something about this. Billy Shears that they had to, and I went down this rabbit hole. They're like, hell, then they had to get rid of Billy. They needed someone else. They're like third Paul or fall or whatever. I don't know. But it's a deep rabbit hole to go down, and there's a bunch of it fingers off. I mean, it's a thing. And the strange thing, when you go into that rabbit hole, you run into the intelligence agencies. I get it. The Beatles. You get that popular, they're going to start looking around. They're going to see we can never let an opportunity go to waste, kind of thing. And they're thinking along different lines of like social engineering and perhaps let's just leave it at that they could have, maybe. I love the Beatles. I love Paul McCartney, whoever you are, Paul. Your band is awesome. Those two other dudes, those are guitarists, because they're playing bass, guitar, they're doing it all. Just cool. I was kind of shocked at how good he was, because I was like, "Oh, the Beatles, but Paul, I knew it was gonna be good, but not that good." Just like, I mean, the drums were because you gotta tune the drum head. You gotta know how to do shit. Right on the spot guitar tones. They weren't the same. And they were a band. They weren't like five guys jamming, no. And Paul, how old is he even back then? And it was like 3 hours. Shit. Inspiring. Like there was part we were crying. I cried when they did the thing with John. It was awesome. That emotion you could feel in the crowd. I didn't think it's shit. I'm human. I got a heart. I love John Lennon, you know, and it happened to be his birthday. I didn't know. They'd already had a projection of Paul, and they I forgot what they did. Maybe he did Blackbird, and he explained Blackbird bird. It's girls, black girls. He explained. Oh, that makes sense. And back then they called girl birds. Again, our language changed, slangs and. But look, does anybody know? Comment below if you think that Again, I'm just asking. I'm not saying. The only thing I'm admitting is my gut tells me some shit. My intuition is like, I don't know what it is. It just seems like right after 66, and then something doesn't feel right. Check it out. Be forewarned going down the rabbit hole. And maybe you already have, like, oh, this is old hat. I mean, I know. But I love y'all. Again, I'm here every day. Come check me out tomorrow. Be blessed. Cheers.